Welcome back to QDads, guys, and yes, it's me, Ben, here today with Pluribus episode 5. And as you can tell from the thumbnail, yes, I am discussing a theory I have about the fact that the milk is made from humans. Obviously, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. Keep up to date with everything Pluribus. And yes, I am going to be dropping a little Fallout video in the next week, which is going to be perfect, ready for that new season when it starts in December. But yes, today I am again freeballing it, guys. I'm going to dive straight in to that big scene at the end, which of course hints heavily, for me anyway, about the fact that the milk they drink is actually made from human remains. So I'm going to touch on that theory now, guys. And again, this is my theory, so hit me up in the comments if you have something different. So essentially, the episode ends with Carol, and she's gone through this whole process of tracking down some more information about the hive, shall we say. So it all starts off from the cartons of milk that she finds, that then leads her to the factory where she realises something about a different ingredient, and after doing some tests on that, she then decides to track down the packaging, which leads her to a warehouse where they have a lot of fresh produce kind of frozen, but also they have some other things frozen. So naturally, there's no power, and she's shining the torch around and comes across a lot of things that are kind of covered in this plastic sheeting. And obviously she lifts it up and has an absolute look of shock on her face. Now, me personally, I'm suggesting that these are the remains of humans that have died with either before they've kind of been turned into this hive mind or after. I think it's kind of irrelevant, but it's the fact that these are frozen bodies. Now, I don't think that they're turning the bodies into this unusual liquid. I think what they're doing is they're actually removing the bones from the bodies and then crushing down and grinding the bones into that white kind of powder or granules that we saw. And I think that then is the mixture which turns it all around. Again, I don't know why they would be using human bones. You know, does it improve the longevity? Does it improve the strength? Does it secure that hive DNA based connection? I don't know. I'm speculating. Hit me in the comments if you have an idea on that. But I think it can't be anything else. And that's why it has to be humans. Because if you think about the fact that she's lifted up this plastic sheeting, you know, it's in a frozen storage unit, so it must be perishable. Why would she be so shocked if it was something like fresh fruit or an animal? I don't think she'd be that bothered. But the fact that it is a human means that that would get that same shock factor. And of course, humans are perishable, so that's why they're in this deep freeze. And we know it's a deep freeze because we see a shiver, we see the kind of the I want to say smoke, but I know it's not smoke. The condensation, the vapour forming around. And that's why, and I think that makes sense then to why this granule is like a white powder type thing. And when she sprinkled it on the floor, you could actually hear it hitting the floor, almost like mini diamonds in a way, like sand kind of. So that's why it's got to be the bone. Bone milk, guys, human bone milk. But if you actually think about it for a second, and this is the bit that really gets me, because they are part of a hive mind. You know, they're connected to billions of people across the world. So there's going to be people in there that are conspiracists and ask that what if question hundreds and hundreds of times in their lives. So why did no one ask the question, right? What if we left Carol all by herself? Would she explore? Because technically, the fact that they abandoned Carol because they're somehow holding a grudge, which I'll touch on in a minute, but they left her, shut off all the equipment, all the lights, which then forced the animals to come to her property, which then put this spiral into effect. It made the drones empty the rubbish, made her then put the rubbish somewhere else, discover the milk carton, and set off that series of events. So surely, with the billions of minds still left within the earth, someone would have thought of that and gone, actually guys, what if we did leave her alone? This might happen. So let's try and do this instead. Like, the fact that they just abandoned her clearly fueled her curiosity. And I kind of like that. I'm glad we got the episode that we did and the ending that we did. But at the same time, I'm a little bit annoyed and let down by the hive mind. Like, surely they would have been smarter than that. You know, and why were they needing space? Why would they not just send in 1 or 2 people? Why use the drones altogether? And clearly, at the start of the episode, we get this. For me, I'm not sure if it is touching on the verge of anger or if it's more fear. So I'm going to go down 2 theories now. So the first is that the hive mind are now essentially scared of Carol. They know what she's capable of. They know that her raw emotion can trigger, mass genocide across the planet. And they know that her curiosity will dig deeper and someone could slip up. So they're scared, they're fearful, they leave the city and abandon her by herself. Or otherwise, you've got the other theory that the hive mind collectively is a happy place. They can't lie, they can't kill, they want to give you whatever you desire because that's what makes you happy. But what about if you can touch into that other element too? And actually, Carol has awakened the angry part, the judgmental side, the side that holds a grudge. Because of what she did to Zosha, they now all have this grudge, which then fuels that feeling and creates it to spread across. Let's take an example. Let's talk about something for an example. If you have a room full of 100 people and, one person's trying to make people upset and everyone's happy, it's fine, you can ignore that one person. But if suddenly that one person knocks over the whole food buffet and everyone's now ticked off, actually, that resonates, it starts spreading, people start going, I can't believe she did that. And then that's how it happens. So this hive mind has ultimately witnessed Carol and Zosha having this moment and has collectively decided that for Carol, they're going to switch on the bad feelings. And I think that's a really crucial point there. But of course, guys, with all that being said, I did actually really enjoy this episode. Like, the humour in it was great. The fact that they sent these drones to come and assist her. The fact that they left this voice recording for her, but then instantly called her back with another voice recording. It was just brilliant to me. I really enjoyed the element of adding the wolves and the fact that they tried to dig up Helen's body. I thought that was quite a touching moment. And, obviously the lack of people have encouraged these wolves to come out, but the fact that she used the police car to then scare them away. And also the fact that then she found the key for the handcuffs and the unlock switch for the gun. Again, just nice comical moments all the way throughout this show. I also enjoyed the overall tone of the show. There was like those subtle kind of bits where you saw a bit of yellow panes of glass, the long binding shots, the camera angles as we watched everyone evacuate the hospital, just watching people's feet and stuff. That is pure Gilligan style, and I really love it, and I think it's what makes this show great. And again, I also want to touch on that final point, actually, that she sent the voice recording, or video recording, to the other 12 people on the planet. Now, did the Hive collectively allow her to do that, or have they kind of just deleted it? Like when that last drone was flying away, I thought that they were actually going to show the bags dropping to the floor and they were not honouring Carol's wishes at all, but instead we saw the wolves. But have they actually sent that recording and translated it to the other 12 people? And is this then going to come into play in the next few episodes? Of course, we know the man from Paraguay is actively now looking for Carol Sturcker, or wants to if he hasn't already. So will any of the others reach forward because of this? And of course, will we get them back? Will Carol completely be abandoned for the rest of the season? Or when Zosha makes a recovery, will the people start returning and flooding back? And of course, how long will it be before she stumbles on a secret she shouldn't, and then the Hive take matters into their own hands? As I said in my last episode breakdown, the Hive do have the potential to kill Carol if it is kind of for the greater good of humanity. So I'm going to leave you with that, guys. Now, again, I really, really enjoyed this episode, and it kind of had me gripping all the way through, even though there was less people involved. And what do you think about my theory, the fact that the Hive is crushing down and grinding the bones of humans to make this milk, as we're calling it, to then keep the rest of them going, again, touches on that theory that they're willing to do bad things for the greater good. And of course, do you think the Hive has the ability to even be angry or judgmental or, discriminative towards other people? Or do you think they are pure happiness all the way through? So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Again, I will be putting a little Fallout video in the next week or so. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with Fallout in December and, of course, the rest of Pluribus. So as always, let me know in the comments your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time with something new.